We're not supposed to watch the local broadcast channel. I now know the horrifying reason why. My neighbor Donna told us to never watch the broadcast under any circumstances. I hide the remotes. You can't be too careful with kids in the house, you know, she said as she leaned against the fence post. You hide the remotes, so your kids can't turn on the local channel, I repeated, wondering what sort of stupid rule this was. Yep, works wonderfully. I only moved in here a few weeks ago. So far, everyone was friendly and nice, but Donna, she seemed a little weird. A house-wide ban on watching the local TV station? Really? I mean, I get it if she were talking about some adult program or something. But local broadcasting channels don't usually show violence or adult content, do they? Why don't you want them watching the channel? I asked. She blinked. Then she laughed, throwing her head back. Ha ha ha, good one. I'll catch you later, Rebecca, okay? She squeezed my wrist, smiled, and then headed off down the sidewalk. I stood there, dumbfounded. A few days later, I went over another neighbor's house for some tea. Melinda Patel, the woman in the blue Colonial on the corner. After we talked for a while, I decided to mention it. Do you know Donna? I ventured. Melinda nodded, taking a sip of tea. Oh yes, we go way back. Both original owners. I glanced around, then I lowered my voice. Don't you think she's a little crazy with the whole TV thing? Oh yeah, definitely. I breathed out a sigh of relief. It's absolutely insane that she keeps a TV. With 2 little kids, it's too risky. Yeah, I know she says she hides the remotes, but you know how kids are. They find everything. She shook her head. Insane? I stared at her at a loss for words. When my kids were that age, I said no siree, not taking that risk. She took a sip of tea. Gave me so much peace of mind. What exactly is on the channel? I asked with a small laugh. Corn? True crime? Her eyes locked on mine. Don't joke about it, please. She kept staring at me with such an intense look that I fell into silence. I changed the subject to her flower garden and her peppy personality snapped right back. And then there was Jerry. Around 4 p.m. she swung by our house an hour after I'd returned from Melinda's. Just wanted to see how y'all are settling in, she said, giving us a big smile. Yeah, we're good. She came in all smiles and chit-chat. But when her eyes fell on our big screen TV, mounted over the fireplace, she froze. Oh, you have a TV? Yes, we do. Well, okay, she said, eyeing our 5-year-old son playing in the corner. She lowered her voice. Did you tell him not to? No, okay, let me show you. You can actually program the TV so it can't go to channel 13. A neat little hack I learned the first few weeks here. That's okay, I said. We don't need it. Suddenly, realization swept over her face. Y'all don't have cable. Good idea. You can get so much with streaming services and all. We've got cable, but we're sure to disconnect it at night. Smart, I said, finally catching the gist. So the kids won't sneak down and watch it while you're sleeping, huh? No, we don't got kids, but, you know, we don't want to end up like Jeremy, waking up in the middle of the night to his TV on. She shook her head. So awful. What happened to him? She glanced to my son again. Not in front of him, she whispered. Then it was back to small talk, and soon after she left. So weird, I said to my husband, Ben. Why is everyone so weird about the local broadcast channel? He shrugged. I don't know. I mean, they can't be broadcasting something so awful, right? Aren't there laws about that? He nodded. Maybe it's some sort of bizarre prank they're playing for us, like hazing, or maybe a psychological experiment. He laughed. Did we unknowingly move into a neighborhood of social psychologists? I don't know, but it's really weird. After our son Nathan fell asleep, I found Ben sitting in front of the TV, turning the remote over in his hands. I'm thinking about turning it on, he said. Turning on channel 13? He nodded. I'm going to bed, I said, crossing my arms. And I think you should join me. Ben broke into a grin. Ha! You're scared. Well, listen, you go on upstairs and hide under the blankets. I'll be up in 5 minutes. Okay, fine. I plopped down on the sofa next to him. I'll watch it with you. You win. He grinned. The TV flickered on, casting eerie blue light on the walls. I watched as his thumb pressed the numbers 1-3. Then it was on. A man appeared on the screen sitting at a desk. He was relatively attractive, but his hair was slicked back with too much grease, and his makeup was caked on. And his teeth were white. Too white, like that Ross in that episode of Friends. Ew, Ben said. Yeah, well, local broadcast channels don't have much budget. Still, couldn't they do better than this? He looks like a mannequin and a used car salesman had a baby. Oh my gosh, I said, laughing. It's true. Even his hair looks fake, he said, gesturing. Probably a toupee. He's too young to be bald. Maybe a wig then. Okay, shh, let's hear what he's saying. The weather's going to be cool, the newscaster said, gesturing to a poorly CGI'd map of the town behind him. High of 50s and low of 40s. Now let's get to the local news. The map disappeared and he sat down. Our first news item is about local woman Melinda Patel. A small photo of her appeared above his shoulder. Ooh, I slapped Ben's arm. That's the woman I had tea with this afternoon. Really? Yeah. She told me she did some work on the school board, but I didn't know she'd be on the news. Last week, Melinda Patel passed a motion to have discounted school lunches for everyone, the newscaster continued. No doubt the fact that she's freaking he principal played a role in the decision. Ben and I froze. What did he just say? I said. He said she's sleeping with the principal. He can't say that on TV. Well, now we know why the kids aren't allowed to watch, Ben said, starting to giggle. I stared at the strange mannequin man, dread sinking in. He smiled back, eyes blankly staring ahead as he read off the teleprompter. And Jerry Johnson, the local librarian, drunk herself to sleep after a phone call from her son. Wait, I thought Jerry said she didn't have kids. He shrugged. Maybe she lied. Maybe this guy is making it up. For all we know, this guy is just spewing garbage to get people to watch. The smile faded from the newscaster's face. He inclined his head slightly, blue eyes locked on the camera. "Let's move on to new resident Ben Hernandez." My blood ran cold. "He can't keep his froggy little mouth shut, can he?" the newscaster said in a lilting tone. "He has to compare me to a mannequin so his wife thinks he's funny." His blue eyes stared at us from the screen, empty and hollow. Mouth curled into a small smile. "How does he know that?" I whispered. Ben glanced at me fearfully, then grabbed the remote and quickly pressed the power button. The TV didn't turn off. Let's get out of here." He grabbed my hand. We both stood up, backing out of the room, but I couldn't look away. Couldn't look away as his blue eyes followed us as we moved away from the TV. Just before we got out of view, he smiled.